All right, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Mindset. Glad to have you be here with you today. My name is Barry Overton, coming to you from Denver, Colorado. Really excited to share this particular um, discussion today, just in regards to vision. And I call it 2025 vision. And it's really the secret to unlocking everything that you want in life in regards to, 2025 vision. And the reason I call it that, I mean, we all know that from a standpoint of how we see, 2020 vision is considered to be perfect vision. But if we think of the definition of vision, there's two parts that I'm going to share one with you. The first one indicates, again, about how we see through our eyes. But the second part of that definition for vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. And that's the part that we're going to talk about today. That's the part that we want to tap into because, see, perfect vision doesn't have to just be 2020. It can go far beyond that. It can go beyond the scopes of anything that you've probably ever imagined. And we're going to talk about how to be able to get there. Now, I call this 2025 vision because we are going into a new year next year. And I am already 3 months left in 2024. And I'm still focusing right now on the vision for 2025 and even beyond that. So before we get into this, I always like to talk about, how we view success and what we look at in regards to success. In many cases, we're looking for a blueprint to success, a way that we can build and grow, our business, or if we're looking for weight loss, we have certain things that we're trying to do from that particular standpoint in regards to creating success. And in most cases, we're looking for a blueprint of how to be able to do it. That blueprint is going to be probably from someone that has already done it and been able to achieve, whether it was success in business, success in relationships, success in weight loss, just living life, whatever the case may be. We're looking for that blueprint. But what you have to understand, if you were an architect and you had a blueprint in front of you, you've been trained and you understand how to read that blueprint and get the very best structure that you can build from it. But if you were a lay person that didn't have a background in architecture, well, then following that blueprint is going to be a challenge. So before we can really get into the blueprint, we got to get into the thinking of ourselves and in our own vision of what it is that we are truly trying to achieve. And one of the things that I like to do is, for me, I have always surrounded myself with people that were successful and had great success. And I've never wanted to understand how they created their success on the surface. I wanted to go much deeper than that. I'm going to give you a question. If you had the opportunity to meet like a great in sports, let's say Michael Jordan, you have the opportunity to meet Michael Jordan, and you had one question that you could ask him, what would you ask him? Now, and I've posed this question to a lot of different people, and I get many different answers, and many of them are very surface level. They're about, man, that game in Salt Lake City. You were so sick. How did it make you feel to be able to win that game? Or, being Michael Jordan and having, the shoe company, what made you think, back in 1984 to be able to have your own shoe, because you revolutionized where we were going with that. But for me, the question would be, I want to get into your thinking, not on that surface level. I want to get into your thinking of when you didn't make your high school basketball team. What was the driving force? What was going on inside of you that made you become better? All right. When you had the challenge of losing your father, what was going on inside of you? What is it that allowed you to continue to go on and have this illustrious career? I want to get into the thinking, the understanding of the challenging times that someone may have experienced that still allowed them to create success. And it doesn't necessarily have to be always the challenging times, but it can be those experiences and their thought process. And was their vision involved? Did you see yourself winning 6 championships before you had ever won one? I bet you he would tell me absolutely. He may even said he saw 7 or 10. So it's understanding from that standpoint and getting deeper into the weeds with someone in regards to their own success. So that's where we're going to start tapping into the vision aspect of things. I want you to think about some of the main thing when we talk about vision, and we're talking about it from a thinking standpoint and a standpoint of imagination. A lot of times what couples that is the idea of a vision board. Now I can tell you, I've had vision boards. I've actually, if you can kind of see a little bit around my room, and if you can see all around me, I live in a vision environment. I keep, all of the things, the goals, the ideas, the things that I'm striving for constantly around me. So it's not, my dreams are too big for a board. So it has to be in an entire environment for me. So I want you to think from that standpoint, number one, but then again, having the photo of the beautiful house, or having the photo of the yacht, or whatever the vision is that you're casting, that's very surface level. Once again, we want to start to be able to go deeper in regards to our thinking around that. And the one drawback I feel that vision boards give us is it gives us the point A, where we're currently at, and the point B of where we're trying to go. And when you see point A, you know where you're currently at. You know that you have a great distance before you can get to the point B. But the vision board is the thing that you focus on that's supposed to be able to get you there. Well, that's a part of it, but you have to understand the journey in between. And so you have to understand that the person you are at point A today is not going to be the person that you will be at point B. There's going to be some growth. There's going to be some change. There's going to be resistance that's going to make you better when you face the resistance. All the different things that are going to shape you into the person that deserves the point B aspect of things. So that's, we have to get out of that thinking we can look at a vision board and believe in it and we can desire it and think that that's all we need to be able to do in order to be able to reach that vision and cast that particular goal. So I want you to think about the A and the B. So you know where you're at now, you see the vision of what you created on this vision board. And more importantly, see, that vision board should live in your mind. You should manifest it. We're going to talk about creating your own metaverse right here, without the goggles, without the Oculus or the Meta, Quest, and all the things that allow us to create virtual worlds. You should be able to do that just by closing your eyes. And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But think about a bridge, and it's going to be a bridge for you that you may not even see the end of it. At the end of that bridge is everything that you desire. It's the goal. It's everything that's on the vision board. But guess what? You may be so far away from it right now that you cannot see all the treasures and things that you're going for on that other end. But it's through your belief that you continue to know that everything that you desire is waiting for you on the other end. And then when you're on that bridge, that's the journey. And see, that journey is the thing that's going to, you're going to see the best version. You may even see some of the worst versions of yourself, but you're going to see some of the best versions of yourself materialize through that process. So what I want you to understand is, by being able to see the bridge itself and go through the bridge, you understand now that that journey is also, it's going to have potholes on that bridge. There may be, water that overflows over that bridge. Those are the challenges. Those are the resistance that you're going to come about. And when you go into it, see, a lot of times when we look at the vision board, we look at where I'm at now, and then we look at where I want to be. And where I want to be is so much more pleasurable and desirable than where I'm at now. And we think about all the good and all the great things. But we have to keep it realistic and know that to get there, to get to that point, there are going to be some challenges along the way. There's going to be resistance along the way, but it's facing those challenges and overcoming them that's going to make you better. See, if you think about, if there's ever been a goal that you've gone after and you didn't achieve it, what was it that caused you to not achieve it? I guarantee you somewhere along the way, there was a challenge that you made a decision. There came a point where you made a decision and you said, I'm pushing through, and I'm going to get through this, and you get to the goal. Or if you made the decision, okay, this is harder than I thought. I wasn't expecting it to be like this. And you stopped and you gave up on the dream, and maybe you diverted to another dream or another goal. And that's why so many people see their success not materialize for them. And when you're in a place where you can say, okay, no matter, at all costs, no matter what, I am going to win. I am going to persevere through this process. And so when you're in that place, you're going to be able to see more of your goals and dreams materialize for you. So being able to go through the bridge, I can tell you, 26 years in law enforcement, one of the things that I learned to do, and I think this plays a very big role in why I've had the success that I have in business, because of the fact that when I would get a call of a man with a gun or a bank robbery or a domestic violence, going to that call, en route to that call, I have replayed 100 different scenarios in my head of what could happen when I get there. And what happens is when I'm there, I'm prepared for anything because I've already played all the scenarios in my head. I've heard professional athletes talk about, going through before a game, they're sitting in their locker, they're preparing for the game. They're maybe in a meditative state to a certain degree, and they're going through the thoughts of every play, and they're visually seeing, how they're stiff arming, if it's a football game, they're stiff arming a player, and they're, catching an amazing catch, and they're scoring the winning touchdown. They're going through all these different scenarios before they ever hit the field, and they're going through some of the challenges. We get behind by 10 points. Patrick Mahomes yesterday was down by 10 points. He's never lost a game if he was down by 10 points. And guess what? He didn't lose yesterday. I guarantee you, in the locker room, prior to the game ever starting, he's imagining different scenarios of what could happen. So again, taking yourself to the place by being on the bridge and having the challenges that come along the way. So for me, I can tell you, just to kind of give you a little bit of insight around me with that, 26 years in law enforcement, I was able to retire 10 years early in 2013. I had a business that I got started with. It's an international coffee company. It was the first time ever in my life that I was not earning income from a paycheck that someone was paying me. Everything was on me. If I was going to earn income, it was based off of my activity and what I was doing. So it was one of the scariest times in my life. And it was like starting from ground zero for me. So a big part of what I did during that time is I had to, number one, manifest through my thoughts what my future was going to be. And through that process, I was manifesting the challenges that were going to be along the way. So when they came, I was prepared for them. And I can tell you that the thing for me, my son at that point, he was about 10 years old, and my daughter, she was 16. She was getting ready to graduate from high school. But it was something for me that it was very important that when I was working and I had a job, we were able to go on vacation. We were able to do trips and go to different places, and they got to see more of the world by the time both of them were 10 than I had ever seen, until I became an adult. And I wanted that to continue. And so I had to tell myself, okay, in order for this, for me to get back to that point, I have to hit certain goals in this business. I have to be creating a certain amount of income to be able to take my kids on trips and show them the world, and just get back to enjoying life without without income coming from an employer and everything being on me. So there was a vision that I had, and it was, being on the beach and being, in the ocean and enjoying different aspects of travel. Travel is something that's very big to me to this day. Those that know me know that I travel a lot, and it all started because of having this vision. And that vision started for me in 2013. By 2015, I was now in a place where the vision had become a reality. And more importantly, it had become a reality where some of the trips that I went on a 7-day cruise that was paid for by the company that I was a distributor in, that I was working, for myself as a commission-based distributor. They took the top 100 sales reps in the world out of half a million sales reps. They took the top 100 on a cruise, and I was one of those top 100. And my son had the opportunity to go with me, and so he saw the hard work, the late nights, and all the things that I was doing come to fruition during that time. He got to meet some of the people that I met or that I worked with, and how they talked about me. He got to understand work ethic and believing in the things that you want and you desire, even when you can't visually see them, but you can see them through the vision of your thoughts. So he got to experience that with me as we went through that process. And I can tell you, I've just through the course of everything that I do now, it all comes down to creating a vision around it. When I wrote my first book, Ignite Your Greatness, I had a vision. I had never met Les Brown. I was a big fan of Les Brown. I was a big fan of another gentleman named Billy Alsbrooks. Hadn't met either one of them. Listened to all their stuff on YouTube and anywhere I could get their motivational information, because it was a driving force for me. And by the time that I finished that book, now I wanted Les Brown to do my foreword. By the time that I had finished the book, we had already picked someone else that did the foreword. And, but I ended up being trained by Les Brown for 18 months. I was on his podcast. He was on my podcast, and I had never even imagined creating a podcast. And my second book, it was a co-author collaboration with Les Brown and 30 other authors. So here it is. I went from a place of wanting to meet this legend and having no idea how it was going to happen, but just having this vision and replaying in my mind what those conversations would look like. And eventually we got to have some of those conversations. And then as far as Billy Alsbrooks, again, another person that I followed and had great admiration and respect for, still do, and realized that within a matter of 6 months of writing the book was about an 18-month process for me. 6 months into writing the book, I got a chance to meet him, interview him for the book. He was actually a chapter in the book. Once the book was completed, he was on tour, and I had, from 2021 and probably I'll do a tour date or two with him this year, but all the way up to last year, I was doing tour dates with him. So again, someone that I idolized from a speaking standpoint. Now I was in a position where I can call him a friend. I can literally pick up the phone and just give him a call and check in and ask for, assistance on certain things. And he's there for me. So again, it was one of those things of having these people that I didn't know, but I had a vision, and I had more so a belief that I was going to be able to make this happen. But it was sticking strong to that vision and knowing that, again, because I had reached out to Mr. Brown on multiple occasions. Something called the pandemic happened. That pandemic, the challenges that created for so many people, opened a window of opportunity for me to meet Mr. Brown and be trained by him for an 18-month period. So again, you never know how things will materialize, but you always have to have the belief and the faith that they will come together. And so those are just kind of two examples in my life of where, visions have come to fruition. And that's why to this day, I still continue to have visions like that. I want to leave you with this. I want to give you an understanding of what it looks like to be able to envision, because it's not just thinking about it here and there, having, some thoughts around vision. So now my vision for the big picture of my life, and this is the vision that I work in for the next, 50, 60 years, however long that I'm going to be here. This is the vision that I'm working in, and it's to impact the lives of other people. Much like what I'm doing right now, I'm working in my vision, but I want to do it on a much larger scale, than 100 people or 1,000 people. We're talking about 1 billion people that I want to be able to impact. There's only 8 billion. I say only, there's 8 billion people on the planet, and I want 1/8 of them to be impacted by me in regards to how it changes their lives in any area of life for them. So let me just kind of explain what that looks like to be able to have that type of impact on people. First and foremost, this is a ritual that I go through. First thing in the morning, I'll go through it throughout the course of the day. And it's just, I'll close my eyes and go through what it looks like in regards to my vision of what I want. And so for me, I often think I want to impact people today where what we are able to achieve right now is going to impact their grandkids. So it's multiple generations that the work that I'm able to meet people, I'm able to help them in different areas and aspects of their life where it has an impact on their grandkids. And I take myself 70, 80 years into the future, where now I'm seeing the vision of a person that's sitting, an older person sitting in a library, a massive library with 20-foot ceilings. There's a fire that's going, beautiful mantle with wood carvings and great, high quality woods. And you look out the windows and you can see that it's snowing outside. So the fireplace is going right now, and you can see the snow is hitting the window and it's creating a frost on the snow, on the windows. And the grandkids of this person comes into the room, and they sit on his lap. They're talking to their grandfather in this instance, and they're having a conversation, and they look up at the fireplace above the mantle, and there's a huge portrait of another man that's up there. And the grandfather points at the portrait and say, "Do you know who that is?" And he explains that is my grandfather's grandfather. That is the person that allowed for us to live the life that we live today. See, it started with them. They created something in a that has become part of our lineage of building something impactful for our futures, our families. It all started with that person right there. Without them making the changes that they did in their life, growing as they did, we wouldn't be here today. And then the grandkids say, well, who? Then there's another photo. There's like a 8x10 photo that's just sitting on the top of the mantle. And there's a picture of a man that's in that photo. And the grandkids point and they say, okay, Granddad, we know who that is. You just told us, but who is that person? Why are they on the mantle? And the grandfather says, well, that's the person that helped your great great grandfather do all of those different things and achieve all of those different things. And he was the person that inspired and helped him along the way. And his name was Barry Overton. So he played a big part in us being here as well. So that's what I mean. That's the vision that I see for myself. It's in 8K in my mind. That's where I talk about, we can go into a metaverse and we can see, we can be in a rainforest, that we can have be on safari in this metaverse. Well, we have the ability to do that same metaverse just in our mind. And when you start living in that type of environment for yourself, you will see those things manifest, because you've taken it to a much deeper level than just a vision board and just something that you're having conversation with. And for me, that every day starts with that particular vision. Now, there are other visions, because that's the big vision. That's the next 50, 60-year vision. But we're talking about smaller visions along the way that are going to help the big vision come to fruition. So creating that for yourself is something that I think is important for you to understand how to be able to get to that point. And, I'll be putting on a class next month in regards to 6 different areas of tapping into your own thinking that will allow you to open up your mind to envisioning things from that particular perspective. So hopefully this has been helpful for you today. It was truly a treat to share this with you. To be honest with you, I am doing this speech for the very first time in person on Friday. So this was actually the very first time that I'm doing it at all, publicly. So you have the opportunity to see this before anyone else does. I will make sure to drop the link once we create it for the training class that really dives deep into tapping into this aspect of your own thinking and belief. All right, folks, thanks. It's been a great time being with you today. You have a great Monday, and we look forward to seeing you soon. For those of you that are in Miami, look forward to seeing you, and anywhere else we may run into one another. Take care.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.